Welcome to Bad Ideas, the show where we look at misfires, mistakes, and miscalculations from all throughout history.
I'm Tony Southcott.
And I'm Albert Berg, and the bad idea that we're going to be talking about this week is Dogecoin.
You mean the cute little Doge puppy?
Well, Tony, do not feign ignorance, because I happen to know that you, at some point in your life, have owned some Doge.
Yeah, I mined a little bit of Dogecoin. I got, I think 1,000 Dogecoins or something like that from just letting it mine in the background.
Tony has some experience with this, but for those of you who do not, it is a cryptocurrency. And Dogecoin started life as a joke. Jackson Palmer, a project manager for Adobe, tweeted in 2013, "Investing in Dogecoin. Pretty sure it's the next big thing." For those of you who don't know, Doge is a popular meme, and it has a little dog. The breed of dog is called a Shiba Inu. Yes, Tony. And it has written over the face of the dog various phrases in Comic Sans text in sort of poor grammar that is very specific to the meme. I can't imitate it
wow.
here.
So
very
whatever.
coin. Yes.
Yeah, very coin. So coin.
Now, Jackson, with this tweet, was poking fun at the rapid proliferation of so-called altcoins, cryptocurrencies that hope to rival the success of Bitcoin. However, the response to his joke tweet about how there were too many altcoins was a bunch of people telling him, oh my gosh, I gotta make another altcoin with the Doge on it. Mr. Jackson Palmer, make the Dogecoin. That's how Twitter sounds to me, Tony.
Follow him at Albert_Berg on Twitter. You can join in on that sound.
It might have ended there still as just a joke, but it just so happens that Jackson Palmer knew a man named Billy Markus. And Markus had been messing around with creating cryptocurrencies, just kind of as a hobby. Like he wanted to understand how it worked and realized that it wasn't that difficult to make your own. So these two guys collaborated and they launched the Dogecoin. They got a homepage. They based it on something called Litecoin, and they put up their own cryptocurrency, naturally featuring the clueless face of a Shiba Inu dog. The cryptocurrency launched on December 6th, 2013, and by December 19th, the value of the joke currency had skyrocketed, quadrupling its value in just a few days of trading. This money that was based on a meme seemed to have a mimetic appeal all its own. 3 days later, Dogecoin would lose 80% of the value that it had gained in those few days, but because of its rapid rise, it was being talked about seriously in the altcoin community. However, 3 days after that, on December 25th, a hacker managed to manipulate a popular Dogecoin storage solution called Doge Wallet and stole $12,000 worth of Dogecoin. As if that wasn't enough drama for the cryptocurrency that was still less than a month old, the Dogecoin community, led by the makers of Doge Wallet, launched an initiative called Save Dogemas to make those who had their Dogecoin stolen whole.
I can't even imagine how many coins that must have been, because they've never even gotten close to 1 cent, at least back in those days.
We're going to get to the value of Dogecoin and where it's gone through the years, but it is astounding how quickly all of this stuff happened, at least initially for Dogecoin. The amazing roller coaster of the value of the currency going way, way up based on the appeal of the meme, and then dropping super fast again, and then people getting scammed and having stuff stolen, and we're not even near done with this. Again, first month of Dogecoin is what we're talking about so far. The thing is, though, that generosity of Save Dogemas turned out not to be a one-off in the Dogecoin community. In 2014, they led a Dogecoin fundraiser to send the Jamaican bobsled team to the Olympics, and then they raised more Dogecoin to help build wells in Kenya.
It sounds like a pretty generous community.
It was, and that was the appeal. There was this neighborly sense around the community of Dogecoin. people who were excited about all being in this together. They weren't serious about the cryptocurrency side. They kind of enjoyed the idea of it going up or whatever, but these aren't like your hardcore investment types. These are guys who are playing around with cryptocurrency. They've probably never done it before if they're investing with Doge as their first kind of cryptocurrency. And this initial sort of foundation of generosity and positivity and everybody working together was really a feature of the community for a while.
And I remember whenever I was actually doing some Dogecoin mining, like I would go to the communities, and if you just mentioned something that was helpful in chat, or you made a funny joke or something, people wanted to know like your wallet under your post, so they could actually just send you like coins as like, hey, that was a good comment or whatever. It's like Reddit gold that actually had some value.
And it's even today still used as a tipping currency, even though its value is sort of all over the place, much like a lot of the other cryptocurrency community. We'll talk about that in a little bit. People are using it just as a way to say, hey, here's something that has at least some value, and I'm giving it to you, for artists and, you know, people in the online community to be able to exchange little tips like that. And this sort of became a problem because everybody was so positive and so sort of optimistic about the future of Doge and their potential as a community and the things that they could do, that they became susceptible to scammers. And throughout 2014, there was a user in the Dogecoin subreddit who called himself Moolah. And he started ingratiating himself to the people in the community by just tipping all over the place, sometimes substantial amounts of money. He would give out hundreds and sometimes thousands of dollars in tips of Dogecoin to people for almost no reason, just making it rain in the comments threads. And people obviously really started liking this guy. And then the bill came due because after he had bought his way into the hearts of this very nice and generous community, he said, guys, listen, I'm building a Dogecoin trading site, and you guys need to help me out. I'm going to call it Moolah, and it's going to be for Dogecoin. It's essentially a Dogecoin wallet solution, right? You would be able to keep your Dogecoin there, like a checking account for Doge. And he built this. He took quite a bit of money from people as an investment in the service. And then when the service was up, he had even more money invested in the service, at which point Moolah experienced a critical bug, and many users lost the ability to withdraw their Dogecoin. Eventually, the man behind this Moolah scheme was identified as Ryan Kennedy, and he turned out to be someone with a history of cons and scams. And because of the nature of Dogecoin, especially at the time, nobody was really sure what to do about this, because this was the early days of cryptocurrency being widely accepted. Bitcoin was still, it was relatively established at the time, but it was still kind of growing and getting its feet and having that momentum that we all heard about leading up to the beginning of the year before it crashed. That stuff hadn't all happened yet, and there wasn't like a lot of legal framework around what a cryptocurrency was or how much you were allowed to do with it, or whether it was even legal to have it, because if it was an alternative to actual dollars, then you're not allowed to do that in the United States. So there was a lot of fear about even going to the police about this scam, and even if they had gone to the police, there was uncertainty about what laws could be used to prosecute this guy.
It's just a lot to take in. Like I've done mining and I've listened to a lot of podcasts about cryptocurrency, and I still don't understand everything about it. It's such a bizarre thing to me.
It's bizarre, and I think the fact that the fact that you can't easily understand it is usually a bad sign of something to invest in, okay? Buy a thing, if you're going to invest in something, it should be something where you can understand the value of it. And I think people don't fully understand the value of cryptocurrency. It has a value. I'm not saying there's no value in cryptocurrency, but I think people don't fully understand what that value is, and so they're just investing, and as we saw, eventually it led to a crash. We're not there yet, though, because before that, Dogecoin also suffered price manipulation at the hands of cryptocurrency investors, and I'm using air quotes here that you guys can't see, looking to make a quick buck in the largely unregulated market. There were ways of pumping up the price of a cryptocurrency and then dumping your shares before people realized what was happening and making a killing off of people who thought that it was legitimately going up. By 2015, the shine had worn off of Dogecoin. And even creator Jackson Palmer said he just wanted to get out of the cryptocurrency community, that he was sick of them. And there were several reasons that Jackson Palmer cited for wanting to get out of cryptocurrency. First, he said he didn't really care for the kind of people that he saw taking an interest in cryptocurrency. He was quoted in Coindesk.com as saying, "All in all, the cryptocurrency space increasingly feels like a bunch of white libertarian bros sitting around hoping to get rich and coming up with half-baked, buzzword-filled business ideas which often fail." And this is a complaint I heard quite a bit reading up on altcoins and just cryptocurrency in general, is that it was they tend to be a very closed community in a way. There's this sort of the type of person who invests in Bitcoin, and if you're not that kind of person, you may not necessarily be directly shunned, but that you're not made to feel welcome. Girls are often not welcome, for example. It's
weird.
It is weird because you think, oh, well, you can just, anybody can invest in these things, but the meetings that happened around them were all about, scantily clad ladies and sort of, again, all of this, I'll use his phrase, white libertarian bros sitting around hoping to get rich. That was the vibe, and that vibe is going to put off some people. Whether or not you're one of those white libertarian bros, that's not necessarily the point. It's if that's all you have as the sort of loudest voices in your community, might not be the sign of a healthy community.
True.
The other thing Palmer cited was the lack of security in the world of cryptocurrency. He had created a version of cryptocurrency that made regular people feel comfortable in investing in a new kind of financial market. And the result was that many of those people lost significant amounts of money, and there was no recourse for them. He said, those charges merchants incur on traditional credit card payments? They exist for a reason, and that's insurance against fraud protection. I like the idea of being able to reverse charges if my bank account is ever compromised personally. And his point here was that the draw of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies in general is about this sort of unregulated wild, wild west. And if that's what you're into, fine. But if you go into that wild, wild west, don't get surprised if you're shot by a gunslinger, because it's not what anyone would call safe as an investment space, as a place that's free of scammers and people who are trying to game the system, because there are so few rules, and especially at the time there were very few rules about what you could do with these cryptocurrencies. It just attracted lots and lots of really unsavory characters.
Yeah, well, you had the people that wanted to be independent of a currency, and then you wanted the people that were trying to do illegal things, trying to purchase things on Silk Road and various other deep web applications that were illegal services. So, there was a lot of different types involved, and not all of them were savory characters.
No. And the irony is that Palmer created Dogecoin to point out these flaws in the altcoin market. His take in 2013, Tony, that's 5 years ago now. And 5 years ago, he looked around him and he said, man, there's too many altcoins. Why do we have so many altcoins? At the time, there were around 1,200 altcoins. Today, there's 10 times as many altcoins. And altcoins are often presented as investment opportunities, as in get in on my new version of Bitcoin. It's going to be the latest and greatest thing. But they're usually the tools of what are called pump and dump schemes, where the creator of the cryptocurrency artificially inflates the price of the currency and then sells off their holdings to gullible investors. And the inflation of these altcoins is quite frankly insane if you think about it. Because for any currency to succeed, you need to be able to use it for stuff. And we already have a currency that we can use to buy things with. They're called dollars. For a cryptocurrency to compete with dollars, it has to offer something that dollars don't. Bitcoin offers anonymity and freedom for government oversight and a certain amount of guaranteed stability in knowing that if you have the physical drive with your address for your Bitcoin, you'll always be able to access it. But beyond that, if you're another cryptocurrency who's not Bitcoin, you have to be able to compete not only with dollars, but with Bitcoin. You have to have a value beyond what Bitcoin has already created as a currency.
It still is weird to me that the biggest competitor to Bitcoin is something called Ethereum, which does not inspire confidence that it'll always be around.
No, I would say not. The thing about Doge that's really interesting is that I just said all this stuff about competing with Bitcoin and how you have to add value beyond just being another one. Doge added value because of its cuteness, because of its perceived ease of access, because of the community. Those were the things that attracted people to use Doge rather than Bitcoin. And I think that if you're going to have a successful altcoin, you need to have something like that. Some kind of community beyond just pump and dump schemes and investment hopes of getting rich off of Bitcoins, because it seems like that's probably not going to happen. In the end, despite what I said at the beginning, Dogecoin itself is not the bad idea here. Its entire history, though, has been a lens through which I think we can view the problems with the cryptocurrency market in general and altcoins in particular. They're fraught with scammers, they're unregulated for the most part, and to top it all off, they're not even a great investment, as we have found out this year. At the beginning of the year, the market capitalization of Dogecoin was $1.5 billion. And one of the things that got me interested in doing this show was a podcast that I listened to from The Indicator by Planet Money that talked about Dogecoin and the creator and why he got into it. And they were very excited at the time about how much it was worth. But they posted that podcast at the peak of market capitalization of Dogecoin and really the altcoin and Bitcoin market in general. Because today, the value of Dogecoin has plunged along with the rest of the cryptocurrency market. And today, it stands at $386 million market capitalization. Compare that to $1.5 billion at the beginning of the year, and you're looking at a substantial loss if that was your investment plan.
Also, like, if you want to break it down to what an individual Dogecoin is worth, at this very moment, it's 0.0033 cents. So you're talking about, I guess it's point through like a third of a cent per Dogecoin right now. The market at its highest was only at 1.5 cents per Dogecoin. So it's not like it's ever really taken off all that much here compared to the $7,500 per Bitcoin.
Well, I don't know that that's a fair comparison. It is a smaller community, and I think percentages are the main thing with investment. If I spent $1,000 on Dogecoin or I spent $1,000 on Bitcoin, if they went up 50%, it doesn't matter how much the individual coin is worth as long as the fluctuation is sound.
True.
But you make a good point. Dogecoin is probably not going to take over the world, and Bitcoin ain't looking so hot right now either. I haven't heard people crowing nearly as much about cryptocurrencies as they were at the beginning of the year when it was insanely valuable. It seems like we've gone through quite a bit of a Bitcoin recession, and I would be leery of investing in it unless you have a good reason to.
Oh, I like the look of it as an alternative currency more than an investment.
That is a good way to go, Tony. If you want a way to spend money that's different than dollars, that's an actual thing. If you're looking for, I'm going to invest and get rich in these cryptocurrencies, maybe think about investing in Hershey's instead. Yeah. Because I know what they do. I know what they provide. And they've been providing it for a long time. Bitcoin, I'm going to wait and see on. You guys, if you get rich, good on you. But I am not taking that plunge. And that will do it for this week. Thank you guys so much for listening. If you like this episode, don't forget to tell a friend about it. Tweet about us on the Tweetors. You can find us at Human Echoes on Twitter. Also, our podcast email is badideasshow@gmail.com, and you can send in ideas that you have for bad ideas that you'd like us to cover there or on our Twitter. We'd appreciate it, and we'll see you guys next week with another one. Take care, y'all.
Have a good one.
Hey guys, Albert here. Thanks so much for watching. If you like this, if you like the other things that we make, you should consider liking, subscribing to the channel, checking out our other videos, and most importantly, going over to patreon.com and becoming a patron. It helps us make the awesome things that you love, and it helps you get access to those things early. There should be a link on your screen or in the video description below. Keep being awesome, and we'll see you next time.